Hello everyone. In this video, we're gonna learn how to solve quadratic equations using quadratic formula and a graphing calculator. Alright, so what you need to do is to follow the step-by-step right here. Step number 1, identify the coefficient A, B, and C. Then calculate discriminant b squared minus 4ac. Alright, so mostly we're gonna call this one as delta. Alright, step number 2. If the discriminant less than 0, then the equation has no real solution. Alright, so you look at this one right here. The first case right here. The discriminant less than 0, the quadratic function does not intersect the x-axis, which is it doesn't have a 0, right? Case number 2. If the discriminant equals to 0, then the equation has one solution. That is x equals negative b over 2a. Right? That is the axis of symmetry. Right? And the quadratic function powers off the x-axis. Right? It's never crossed the x-axis. And case number 3. b squared minus 4ac greater than 0, then the quadratic equation has two distinct solutions. x1 equals negative b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, and x2 equals negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Right? In this situation, the quadratic function crosses the x-axis two times, right? It's going to be 1 and 2 right here. And these are two zeros of the quadratic equation, right? Now, in this situation, we have two real number solutions, right? This guy, we have one real solution. And this guy, we have no real solution, right? Now, let's take a look at the first example. S squared minus 2s equal to negative 8. Alright, so in order to use the quadratic formula, you need to move every single term from the right hand side to the left hand side. Make sure the right hand side equals to 0, right? And this is the standard form of the quadratic equation right here. Alright, so I'm going to add 8 both sides. So it turns out to be s squared minus 2s plus 8 equals to 0, right? And then I'm going to identify A, B, and C, right? So if you see nothing right here, which means A equals 1, right? B equals negative 2. And C equals 8, right? So then I need to calculate discriminant delta equals b squared minus 4ac. Alright, so it turns out to be b equals negative 2. So you need to put parentheses negative 2 squared minus 4 times a equals 1. C equals 8, right? So this guy turns out to be 4 minus 32 equals negative 28, which is less than 0. Alright, so we look at this one. It falls in the first case, right? Discriminant less than 0, the equation has no solution, right? Alright, so we just say the equation has no solution. Alright, so now we're going to use the calculator to check our solution. And we look at the one right here. The graph of quadratic function does not touch the x-axis. Do you see that? This one right here. Which means there is no zeros. Alright, so you're going to hit y equals. Play this one and you're going to put s squared minus 2s plus 8. Alright, so it turns out to be s squared minus 2s plus 8. And you hit graph. And you see that the graph is above the x-axis and never touches the x-axis, which means there is no real zero, right? If there is no real zeros, the quadratic equations has no real solutions. Now let's move on to the second example. S squared equals 4s minus 4. Alright, so we need to move every single thing to the left hand side, right? So I need to subtract 4s and add 4 both sides. So it turns out to be s squared minus 4s plus 4 equals to 0, right? And then I'm gonna find a, b, and c, right? So a equals 1, b equals -4, and c equals 4, right? So discriminant delta equals b squared minus 4 times a times c. So it's going to be -4 altogether squared minus 4 times 1 times 4, right? So it's going to be 16 minus 16 equals 0. So because the discriminant b squared minus 4ac equals 0, it falls in the second case right here. The quadratic equation has one real solution, x equals -b over 2a right here. So you just substitute negative. Now b equals -4, so you put -4 right here over 2 times 1. And it's going to be 2 negative side right here turns out to be positive. So 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. So 2 is the only solution, right? Now we're going to use the calculator to check out works, right? Now we hit y equals, and we input s squared minus 4s plus 4, right? So it could be plus 4, hit graph, and you see that the graph powers off the x-axis as s equals 2, right? If we need to check for this solution, you just hit second trace. Hit number 2, 0. Right, move your cursor to the left hand side of the 0, hit enter. Move your cursor to the right of 0, hit enter. Move the cursor inside of 2 lines right here, hit enter. And the 0 is 2 right here. Alright. Now let's move on to the next example. We need to solve this equation s squared minus 8 equals 2s, right? Now you need to move every single thing to the left hand side. Alright, so it turns out to be s squared 2s move to the left turns out to be -2s. Rewrite -8 equals 0, right? And then you need to identify A, B, and C, right? So A equals 1, right? If you see nothing right here, you put 1. B equals -2, and C equals -8, right? And then you need to calculate the discriminant. Delta equals b squared minus 4ac. So it turns out to be -2 squared minus 4 times 1 times -8, right? And then this guy turns out to be 4 plus 32. It's going to be 36, right? Because discriminant greater than 0, the equation has two distinct real solutions. S1 equals -b plus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. -b equals -2, so it turns out to be plus 2. Alright, plus this guy, but this guy equals 36 right here. Right, so square root of 36 over 2 times 1. So square root of 36 equals 6. 6 plus 2 equals 8 over 2. And it's going to be 4. Now S2 equals negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So it turns out to be 2 minus square root of 36 over 2 times 1, right? Now square root of 36 equals 6. So 2 minus 6 is going to be negative 4 over 2. So it's going to be negative 2, right? Now, if you look at the formula right here, sometimes they're going to combine these two formulas right here into one. So that's why like this, S equals negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? So you need to split this one into two formulas right here. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to use the calculator to check our answer, right? So we hit y equals, you need to input the quadratic function right here. Alright, make sure the right hand side equal to 0, so keep that in mind. So s squared minus 2s minus 8. Hit graph. Alright, so you have two zeros right here, right? Now you need to find two zeros, so you hit second trace. Number 2. Now you need to find the 0 on the left, right? So move the cursor to the left of 0, hit enter. Move your cursor to the right of 0, hit enter. Move the cursor inside two lines right here, hit enter. So the first 0 is negative 2 right here. S equal negative 2, yes, it's right here. Alright, now check the second one. You hit second trace again. Hit 0 and move your cursor to the left of the second 0 right here. Right, so we stop right here. We hit enter. Move your cursor to the right of 0, hit enter. Move your cursor inside two lines right here, hit enter. And the second 0 s equals 4, which is right here. Alright. Sometimes we have a faster way to know if a quadratic equation has two solutions. For example, if we look at this one, 50 minus 4s equals s squared. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is to convert this one into quadratic equation in the standard form, right? You move every single thing to the left hand side, so it turns out to be negative s squared minus 4s plus 50 equal to 0. Alright, so you need to identify A, B, and C, right? A equals negative 1, B equals negative 4, and C equals 50. Now, keep in mind, if A times C less than 0, and the quadratic equation has two distinct resolutions, right? So now we check it. A equals negative 1, B equals 50. We multiply this one, it's going to be negative 50, which is less than 0. So this equation has two distinct resolutions. You can use the discriminant right here to check your work, right? You get the same answer. This is just a trick and a faster way to know if the quadratic equation has two real solutions. Alright, let's move on to the next example. In the shot put, an athlete throws a heavy metal ball through the air. The arc of the ball can be modeled by the equation y equals negative 0.04s squared plus 0.84s plus 2, where s is the horizontal distance in meters from the athlete and y is the height in meters of the ball. How far from the athlete will the ball land, right? So basically you need to write the quadratic equation negative 0.04s squared plus 0.84s plus 2 equal to 0. And you need to solve this quadratic equation, right? So we have a equals negative 0.04, b equals 0.84, and c equals 2. Now you need to calculate the discriminant delta equals b squared minus 4ac, right? So it's going to be 0.84 squared minus 4 times negative 0.04 times 2, right? And then this guy turns out to be 1.0256, right? Because this guy greater than 0. So the equation right here has two distinct resolutions, right? So the first one, S1 equals negative b plus square root of 1.0256 over 2a, right? So it's going to be negative 0.84 plus 1.0256 square root of this one over 2 times negative 0.04. Alright, so if you calculate this one, it turns out to be approximately negative 2.16. Now S2 is going to be negative b minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Alright, so this guy turns out to be negative 0.84 minus square root of 1.0256 over 2 times negative 0.04. So this guy approximately 23.16, right? Now, since the distance cannot be negative, right? So this guy, you don't need to worry about this guy. So the distance should be 23.16 away from the athlete, right? Now, you can use a calculator to check your work, right? So you hit y equals, right? So you input the quadratic function right here. Negative 0.04 s squared plus 0.84 s plus 2, right? So you hit graph, it's going to be right here. Now you look at the left hand side right here. You see that the 0 right here is negative, so you don't have to worry about this 0, right? You just worry about the 0 right here. So you hit second trace to find the 0, to hit enter, right? And move your cursor to the left of 0, hit enter. Move your cursor to the right of 0, hit enter. And then move your cursor inside of two lines, right? Hit enter. So the answer is 23.158, right? So you just write up 23.16, right? Now let's move on to the last example. We need to choose an appropriate method to solve the following quadratic equations, right? So question A right here, 3x squared minus 9. You only have two terms and you don't have x terms, right? So the easy way for you to solve this one is to take square root, right? So this one can be solved by taking square root, right? Because there is no x terms. Now, question B, x squared minus x minus 30 equals to 0. This quadratic equation can be factored, right? So we can use factoring method to solve this quadratic equation, right? We can use quadratic formula, right? We can use complete square, right? Now, question C, this equation cannot be factored, right? So we cannot use the factoring method, but we can use quadratic formula. We can use complete square. Question D, this quadratic equation cannot be factored, right? So we can use quadratic formula. We can use complete square. Question E, we can use quadratic formula. We can use complete square. Now question F, we can use quadratic formula. we can use complete square, and we can factor, right? In general, A, B, C, D, E, F can be solved using a graphing calculator, right? Now I leave all these questions for you to practice, and it's your time to start. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember that if you failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine.